to my tutorial of the CaliLanna Square, Granny Square, in honor of Granny Square Day. So here is the square, the sample that I did. Today I'm going to use a 5.5mm crochet hook. I'm going to use her colors, yellow and orange. So to get started, we just need to do a slip knot. And then we're going to take our hook and chain 4. And we're going to slip into the first stitch to join. And it's going to form a ring just like that. Now, however you do double crochets to start your round, go ahead and do that. I like to do a stack single crochet, so I'm going to insert a single crochet into my ring. I'm going to insert my hook into this front leg right here and create another single crochet. So now we have a stacked single crochet. And then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into the ring, going over our tail. For a total of 4 double crochets. Okay, then we're going to chain 2. Pardon me. We're going to chain 1. No, we're going to chain 2. Sorry. Let me pull those back out. Okay, so we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to insert 4 more double crochets into our ring, making sure to go over that tail. So basically we're going to have clusters of 4 instead of clusters of 3 like the granny stitch. So we're going to insert 4 more here. There's 3 and 4. Then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to insert 4 more double crochets. So we're going to do that 2 more. So basically we're going to do these clusters 2 more times for a total of 4 clusters in this ring. So we're going to do 2, 3, and 4. So we've got 3 clusters so far. We're going to chain 2. Spread it open a little bit more. We're going to insert 4 more double crochets. It's a lot of double crochets in there, so we gotta squeeze them all in there. So 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and there is our 4 clusters. Then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to insert my hook into the first stacked single crochet stitch. So if you just look here, you got 1, 2, 3, and this stitch right here is the top of our stacked single crochet. Right here, it's just a little bit shorter because I didn't make it too tall. Make sure you make yours tall. So I'm going to insert my hook with that yarn over first. I'm going to have those 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through those 3. That is called a half double crochet joint. It keeps you in the corner here. Then we're going to turn and we're going to immediately do a single crochet back into that space right there below the half double crochet. And then we're going to do our stack single where we go into this front leg right here. And then we are going to do another single crochet. So our stack single crochet. Then you're going to insert 3 more double crochets into that same space. I think I said 3 more double crochets. I don't know. Make sure you insert 3 more double crochets after that stack single. So there is your stack single and your 3 stitches after that, so there's 4 there. We're not going to chain anything, we're just going to yarn over, go immediately over to the other space, corner space here, and insert 2 clusters of 4 double crochets with a chain 2 in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, one more set of 4 double crochets, 1. So basically just like a granny stitch square, but we're doing, it's almost like a block stitch, I guess. So there's 3, and then 4. So we have that so far for our corner. Camera's shaking, sorry. And we're going to do what we did here in this corner in the next 2 corners. So go ahead and do that, and I will just work along with you as I do it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and then we're going to do 4 more into that same space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we've done 2 corners now, 2 full corners. We've only done half a corner at the beginning there. We're going to finish that corner when we come back around. So we're going to do what we did in these 2 corners again in the 3rd corner. So 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, chain 2. I do appreciate you guys allowing me to do this again, because even though my kids are trying to be quiet and not doing a very good job at it, I am able to do this real quick for you guys. So I'm kind of enjoying it with a little bit of frustration from the kids. Okay, so there is our 3rd corner done. It looks so cool. Shh. All right, I'm going to go over with 4 double crochets into this space here where we started. And then we're going to do another half double crochet join to the 1st stitch. Okay, I'm going to pause real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to do a half double crochet join to the 1st stitch, which is right here. If you count back, you've got 1, 2, 3. And then like that stack single crochet, just a slightly bit shorter. We're going to insert our half double crochet into that stitch just like that. And there is the end of round number 2. All right, so we're going to turn our work again. And this time we're going to do some front post double crochets. So this square has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Let me double count that real quick. 1, 2, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have 5 rounds. All right, so then we're going to do what we've been doing, and we're going to insert a stack single crochet into that space below the half double join that we did. Make sure you just make that a little bit tall. It is going to sit kind of on the side either way. So insert 3 more double crochets. All right, so we've got 3, we need 1 more. So I've done 2. Now I've got 3 double crochets in my stack single, that's 4. All right, now we are going to do, let's see, let me double check. All right, so this time we're not going to insert in the spaces. We're going to do, I'm sorry, I messed up. Take out 2 of those double crochets. Okay, so you only want a stack single crochet and a double. So just 2 on the edge there. So then we're going to skip over this 1st stitch here, and we're going to go to the 2nd one and do a front post double crochet And then we're going to insert 2 double crochets in the space between the second and the third stitch of that cluster. Okay, so insert 2 double crochets, just like that. So you got your front post and your 2 double crochets. Okay, and then you're going to do another front post around this double crochet that's on the, like the outside. We're going to make like a V stitch that's 3D kind of sticking up. So the first and the last stitch are not going to be used. But because we're putting all these stitches on top, we're keeping the same stitch count. And when we put the extra one over here on the end, that gives us the increase that we need. All right, so we're going to skip over these 2 stitches right here, and we're going to insert a double crochet, a front post double crochet around this second post here. Just like we did over here, we're going to do the same to here. So we're skipping the first and the last stitches, and we're working around and between these middle 2. So you got your front post double crochet, insert 2 double crochets into this next space right here. Hopefully you guys can see everything. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet around this next post right here. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. And I'm honestly just sticking with you guys to do all this because it's just a quick granny square. It may end up being like a 30-40 minute tutorial, but yeah, you know, it's better to work it through. All right, so sorry. We're inserting 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space right here on the corner. So we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets for a corner. For your corners, you will have 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, and so now we're going to repeat what we did here on this side here and the rest of the other 3 sides. And then we'll come back around here and finish our corner. Okay, so again, we're going to skip over this first post, and we're going to go around the second post with a front post double crochet. We're going to insert 2 into the space between these next 2 here, or we'll have it between the 2 front posts when we're said and done. Stop shaking, camera. Goodness gracious. I feel like it's shaking. If it's shaking for you guys, I apologize. I need to quit resting my arms on the desk. All right, so I did another front post around this next available post before the last one. So out of the 4, you're going to do your front post around the middle 2. All right, so we're going to skip over those 2 double crochets. We're going to go in and behind and come back around for another front post around that stitch. Insert your 2 double crochets into this space. Okay, and then do a front post around the next available stitch here. I just like to stop and show you what we're doing here. So those are the 4 double crochets right here that we're working with. So we have 4 up here, we have 2 outer ones, or front post double crochets, and then the 2 in the middle go in the center there to make the 4 stitches. Okay, now we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner, chain 2, 2 double crochets. My tail's getting in the way. You may hear a crying child, and I apologize. He's getting mad at his game. All right, so the next 4 double crochets, you're going to insert your front post around those 2 and insert 2 double crochets in the middle of those 2. So we're going to go to the back from the front, come around to the front again, do a front post double crochet, and then we do 2 double crochets in the space. And then we do another front post, just like that. And we're going to skip over to the next cluster, do the same thing. Front post double crochet around the second stitch, 2 double crochets in between the second and third stitch of the cluster. and then another front post double crochet around this third or the next available double crochet stitch. So like I said, we're skipping the first and last one, and we're working in between and into around the second and third double crochet of that cluster. All right, so 2 double crochets. I don't know why I want to say chain 2 instead of 2 double crochets. Chain 2, then 2 more double crochets in the corner to create our next corner here. Okay, and then we're going to just do the same thing we've been doing over here. Front post double crochet around the second one, 2 double crochets in the space next to that, and then we're going to do another front post double crochet around the next one here, and then we're skipping over these 2, going around this one here with a front post double crochet, the second one, doing our 2 double crochets in the space next to that one. And then we're going to do another front post double crochet around this next available stitch here. And then we're going to just skip right over this one and into the corner space with 2 double crochets. Ooh, my color's changing right in time for us to switch to another round. All right, so I'm going to do my half double crochet join into the top of that stitch. I'm going to flip my work, and then now we're going to do, let's see, I believe this round is just another round of, hold on, or did I do 3? No, there's 1, 2, then I did the front post, yep. 1, 2, then the front post. That's 3, and then we do a round. Okay, yep, we're just going to do a round of the 4 double crochet clusters. So let's get that going. All right, so we're going to do a stacked single crochet immediately into the space below the half double crochet there for our corner. And we're going to insert 4 double crochets insert 3 more after that stacked double crochet for a total of 4 double crochets, or 4 stitches, however you want to think about it. Okay, then we're going to skip over the next 4 stitches. So we've got 1, sorry, it was shaking again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in between, okay, so remember these 2 that we did in that space, we're going to go in the middle of those 2 on each one, okay, and insert 4 double crochets into that space. So this is kind of like the granny stitch area, like where you skip over and just do a cluster, but we're doing 4 instead of 3. So 4 double crochets in that space. You're going to skip the next 4 stitches, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and in between those 2 double crochets that you did in that space below here, we're going to insert 4 more double crochets into that space right there. So you're not going into any stitches right for this square, you're just going into spaces. Just got to follow the space, or follow me. I don't know what I'm trying to say. All right, we're going to skip over those last 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to insert 4 double crochets into the corner here with a chain 2 in between the next 4 double crochets in the same corner. So you're going to do 4 double crochets this time, chain 2. So there's chain 2, and then another 4 double crochets in the space. Oops. Finish that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's one side done. Let me get my shadow out of there for you. All right, now we're going to do the same thing we did on this side on the next 3 sides. Okay, so we're going to skip over 4 stitches and go into the middle of these 2 right here with 4 double crochets. I'm impressed how well I'm able to do this through the camera because everything looks smaller as I'm looking down on it. Man, it doesn't take much to get that thing shaken. Wish there was a way to sturdy it up a little bit. Alright, so we're skipping 4 and going into that space here. In the cluster, there's the cluster and there's the space. Insert your 4 double crochets. I don't know if I'm going to get to the orange before the end of this square. I do know that this color would be pretty in this square if I kept going with it. Alright, so we're skipping over those last 4 and going into this corner space with 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets, all into the same corner space. There's 3, 4, chain 2, and then another 4 double crochets. One more. There's 4. All right, so we're going to skip over 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that space between those 2, we're going to do 4 double crochets. Skip over 4, go into the next space between the 2 doubles, right there, and do 4 double crochets. I mean, this square honestly could easily be done in about probably 30 minutes or so, with minimal distractions. Skip over the last 4 and do your 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets in this corner space. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and then 4 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, skip over 4 and go into the next space between the 2 doubles there. Shh. Okay, quiet please. 3, 4. All right, skip over the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And into this next last space, we're going to do 4 more double crochets. Three and 4. And then we're going to skip over the last 4 and put our last 4 double crochets in the last corner space here. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so there's the back, there's the front. We'll take care of that when we're done. All right, so now we're going to join with a half double to the first stitch. Trying to do this without splitting the yarn and through the camera. All right, so there's our half double. Let's double check here. Now we're going to do one more round of the front post double crochets that we did with the clusters, with the 2 in between here. Okay, so you got your 2 front post double crochets and then you got your 2 in the middle. All right, so we're gonna turn our work. We're going to insert, sorry, I keep resting my arms on the desk and then it starts shaking the camera and then it doesn't stop. Insert our single crochet and then we go into that front leg right here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through those 2 for another single crochet. All right, so this time we're only going to put 1 more double crochet in this corner, just like that last round we did the post work in. All right, we're going to skip over this first stitch here, insert a front post double crochet around this second one, this one right here. All right. right there. Insert front post double crochet. And then in the space right next to it, right here, before the next one, you're going to do 2 double crochets. So this is a 2-row repeat basically. I mean, you have a couple setup rounds, and then you repeat the front post, and then just the regular cluster, and then the front post, and then the regular cluster, if you wanted to grow it out bigger. All right, so then after those 2 are done, we're going to insert a front post double crochet around this 3rd stitch here of the cluster. Skip over these 2 and do your front post around the next one here. Then do 2 double crochets in the space right next to it. Insert a front post around the next stitch there. And we're just going to keep repeating that all the way across. So front post around that one. Let me back up just a little bit so I can show you the repeat. We're going to skip over these 2 and go around this next one here with our front post. So front post, 2 doubles in the space beside it. And then a front post around this next one here, the 3rd stitch of the cluster. And then skip over the next 2 and repeat. Front post, 2 doubles. And then another front post around this one right here before the last one. And then you do 2 double crochets, chain 2 in the corner. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, and then you skip over the 1st stitch and go around, work around and in between these middle 2 stitches here. So front post, 2 double crochets in the space next to it, to the front, the space next to the front post. And then you're going to do a front post around this next one right here. Skip over the next 2. Go into this, go around this next one with a front post. Do 2 double crochets in that space beside the front post. And then another front post double crochet. And then skip over the next 2, front post double crochet. Do 2 double crochets in the space next to that. Do another front post, double crochet around the next stitch. And then do skip over the next 2, do a front post around the next one. 2 double crochets in the space next to that. And then you're going to do a front post around this stitch here, the 3rd stitch before the last one here. Skip over that last one, do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. And then we will finish the last, I think last 2 rounds. I get to focusing on what I'm on. And yeah, we have 1 and then 2, so 2 more sides. All right, so we skip over the first one, do our front post around the second one. And then we do our 2 double crochets in the space next to that, between the second and third. And then we do a front post around the 3rd stitch. We skip over the 4th stitch of this cluster and the 1st stitch of this one. So over the next 2, do another front post around that one. 2 double crochets in the space beside that. I know I feel like I'm repeating a lot, but I'm literally just working this whole thing with you guys because it's just a quick square. It's a, yeah, 30-minute plus video for you guys, but I figured this way's, you know, kind of like my lives where I work through things with you guys like this. All right, so I did my front post double crochet around the second stitch there. Now I'm inserting my 2. And then I'm going to do another front post around the next one. Skip 2, front post around the next. 2 double crochets in the space beside that. Another front post around the next stitch. Front post double crochet, and then we do 2 double crochets, chain 2 in the last corner here. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, and then we skip 1, go around this one with our front post double crochet, the second one. Then we do 2 double crochets in the space beside that. Oh my goodness. Then we do another front post double crochet around the third stitch there, the next one. Then we're going to skip over 2, go around the next one with a front post double crochet. 2 doubles in the next space beside that, or into the space beside that, not next space. Into the space beside it. And then a front post around the next stitch. Skip 2 stitches, go front post around the next. 2 double crochets in the space next to that. And then a front post around the next stitch here. Skip 2. Go front post around the next. 2 double crochets into the space. And then a front post around the next. Okay, I had to pause for a second. Okay, and then last 2 double crochets in the last corner here. All right, and now this time, instead of doing a half double crochet join, we are going to do a chain 2. Okay, so I'm really bad about saying this at the beginning of videos, but you do need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. So I'm not a fan of these, but they were the closest thing I have. So after your chain 2, you're going to cut your yarn. I'm going to pull this through carefully without pulling it out. And then I'm going to put it on my tapestry needle here. I'm going to take the tapestry needle, I'm going to skip over the first stitch and go into the next stitch. We're going to go in right there. This is called an invisible join. I've actually kind of come to like this. I haven't done it too many times, but we'll try it, try it with this one. So what happens is what we're doing is going to cause a chain, or a stitch to form over the top of the stitch, okay? So that's why we skip over that first one, so we don't have extra stitches. Then you come with your tapestry needle and you go into the same space that your yarn's coming out of, that this yarn's coming out of right here. You go into that same space. I've lost it on here, hold on. Okay, right here. Go into that space with your needle, pull it through, kind of tighten it down a little bit, just so it looks like a normal stitch, like the rest of them. You can flip your work over and hide your tail inside the work. I'm just going to go in here like this. You don't want to pull it too tight because that way it doesn't pull it down. Kind of keep it, snug, but not like, don't go super tight with it. Let's see. And then I just like to split the yarn a little bit, kind of go through here. I like to hide in my corners. So I'm going to go in here like that. Pull it a little snug. And I'm going to go back, split the yarn a little bit. And then kind of pinch as you're feeding it through. So maybe you can split some yarns and kind of wiggle it through there. So maybe it's, splitting yarns. You want to split the yarn so that way it just kind of holds it in place. I'll decide to come out. So I'm going to go one more time. I'm very paranoid about my ends. Okay, and then we're going to just go back in again. Splitting the yarns. Kind of push it through there. Okay, and that will be our last pull through there. And then we just take our scissors and we just kind of get real close up to there, but without cutting anything else, and cut it short. And then you can kind of, and there you go, there's that invisible join, there's no knot there. I kind of like that. So now we're going to do this one. If you want to, you can kind of pull it a little bit so that it closes up the hole if you want to. Otherwise you can just leave it like a hole there if you want. It's got some holes to it, so it's not a big deal. So then what I like to do is, you see how I'm turning it, I try to, the yarn's coming out of over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and follow in here the same direction, but I'm going to like fish it in there really good and kind of, you know, split yarns as I'm going. A little squeaky going in there. I'm just going to do that a couple times. Just let it, feed it through all those loops. All right, I think that's probably good. I'm running out of yarn anyway, so. All right, so I'm gonna pull it a little snug so that way I can cut it. And then when I go to go like this, it pulls it back in there. But look, it stays kind of nice and tight there. So there's the back. There's the front of our Lanna Banana Square in yellow. And it just, I love how it has kind of a creamy banana center to it even. So let's see if I'm even done. I may have to add a border on this before I send it off. But we are at, look at that, right at 6 inches, y'all, with a 5.5mm hook. Sweet. All right, there you go. The Lanna Banana Granny Square. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a comment in the comments down below if you plan on making this, and I will see y'all on the next one. Thank you for joining. Bye.